Now, I write my business plan in a Google document, and this allows me to keep track of versioning as well as share it with my partners. Whenever I share it with an investor or a bank or you, my students, I will download it as a PDF and send it out that way. I only share the organic document with my partners. And even my partners only get suggestion access, which means they can make comments without actually editing the document. This gives me total control as I need to really shape the plan properly. I have a copy of the PDF in our resources folder in class, but for this lesson, I'm actually working through the document in Google Docs with you. I'm sure I'll notice some things that I'll need to tweak along the way, but that just reflects the organic nature of my business plan. That's how you should see it, an organic document that you're constantly tweaking and improving. Now, this is 24 pages long, so I'm not going to read you all of the business plan. You can download the PDF in the resources file if you want to read it word for word. But for this video, I'm just going to go ahead and walk you through it. I will read some parts of it, but it'll give you an idea of what you can put into your business plan. I like to put a nice picture in here. You can see I have one of my favorite pictures. This is of our sunshine tents. It captures the aroma of our glamping operation. This was a couple then, and their friend in the middle there has a scarf on her head because she had just survived a cancer treatment. And they spent the weekend there, and we got to know each other a bit, and they had a great time. So even though there's like towels on the deck and the propane tank, and I had to blur out my neighbor's yard in the back on the right, it still captured the mood of what I want Monument Glamping to become. I'm going to go ahead and read the executive summary to you and just point some things out. Monument Glamping Resort, strategically situated in northern El Paso County, Colorado, leads the way in the thriving glamping movement. Now, I got to be honest with you, I pulled some of this into ChatGPT to help me write this. That was part of my evolution of writing this executive summary, is that I might pull it into ChatGPT and throw in what I've got and see if ChatGPT actually throws out something better. You can prompt ChatGPT with write a more professional executive summary to a business plan, and it will word it in such a way that an investor or a bank will receive it fondly. Now I have a table of contents. This is a dynamic table of contents, meaning I can refresh it whenever I want, and it will refresh to these what would they call headings. And let me show you that real quick because it kind of goes with just how to write this. The business of glamping right here is actually a heading 1. It is not 16 font and whatever font this is and bold or whatever. I don't do that kind of stuff. I go heading 1 and boom, I change it to heading 1. In fact, if I change this and just try to make it smaller and I change it back to heading 1, it'll make it back to those what's called styles. Now, the reason I do that instead of just getting fancy and changing styles and sizes and all that is because of this. The executive summary or the business of glamping, what I have down there is pulling from that heading 1. So if I change, I'll show you this. If I change this and accidentally put 2 G's in there, and then I refresh the table of contents, you will see all of a sudden it's misspelled with 2 G's. And why is that? Well, because it pulled from this heading. I don't know, a little bit of what would that be called? That would be, kind of sharing with you my publishing experience from my Monument Publishing business that I used to own. But anyway, so executive summary, the business of glamping, market research, you see this follows the same order that I just gave you in the last video, and it goes all the way down to the exit strategy. So let's walk through that. Now, the business of glamping, this is where you are educating the reader. Okay, if this is a banker sitting down and going, okay, what is this glamping thing? This is a financial investment that I'm getting into, but I need to really wrap my head around what this is all about. So this is a time to educate your reader. And I'm just going to read the first paragraph and kind of speed through this, and just because a lot of this is what we've studied in the first couple weeks of our entire course. So Monument Glamping is the overall brand identity for this greater business plan. It helps to have an understanding of what glamping is, as well as a detailed story of the Jube family's journey into the industry. This section goes into detail of both and concludes with a summary of the business structure and property development of Monument Glamping's current status. So now I'm just going to scroll through a bunch of like, what is glamping? This is stuff you could copy and paste right into your own document. Until it gets into the story of Monument Glamping, but you're going to tell your story. You're going to you have this land, or I discovered this by taking this course called 8 Weeks to Launch by Chris Jube, and you might do it and show your earnings and things like that. So this is really my presentation that I gave at the AGA. I just walk through how we struggled financially. We were teachers and homeschool parents, and we, our whole lives changed when we got into trouble. I'm actually very honest with it. I'm not hiding anything in this document. We got into trouble, but we still persevered, and we made a great earnings that year, and we still had our troubles, but I love this picture. So I put pictures in my business plan because it shows the personality of the small business that you're starting with your glamping operation. It also builds credibility. I mean, I'm positioning myself as the glamping leader in this region, in this area. And you're going to do the same thing. You're in the area. There might be some other glamping operations around you, but I want you to put in your mind that you're the head honcho. Yeah, you're the glamping guy in your area, and you are set to grow and to expand. I mean, here all my family members have hats on, but you can also see a lot of business members. In fact, I'll use my pointer here. Here's a guy from my church, and here's a girl from these are people from the Chamber of Commerce holding the thing. Oh, where's the mayor? There's a mayor in there too. The mayor is right here. This girl right here is the mayor of Palmer Lake, and the mayor of Monument wasn't there that day, but there's some neighbors here too. This is a neighbor, and there's some neighbors. These are people who came out to support my business, and we took a picture in front of this picturesque tent, sunshine. And I'm building credibility here. I'm positioning myself as the authority in glamping in my area. I even got asked Ruben Martinez. Ruben Martinez is the American Glamping Association president, and I asked him to write this letter. And I got to tell you the truth, I actually wrote this for him. That's a key. I told him, "Hey, can you write this for me?" And then he tweaked it a bit, but I made it easy for him to write this glowing review about Chris and Wendy Jube and the glamping world of itself. So I put that in the business plan. Of course, I keep talking about how much money we've been making, and it's been awesome. Actually, I will need to update that because 2023 is over now, and I made more than that. So November and December aren't included in that. So that's an example of how this is an organic document, and I need to take a screenshot of my Airbnb earnings and show more accurately how much I've been making, because really, here, I'll read this part. The Airbnb consists of blah, 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 blah. The actual number as of October 9th, 2023 is 2,697. I can get very accurate now. I got to go back and I've got to update this to show that how much money I made. I made $246,000 by the end of the year in bookings, and an investor will want to know that. Will want to know that exact number. Okay, here comes the next one. This too can be copy and pasted from the document, a lot of it for you, because it talks about market research and analysis, the future of the glamping industry. I quote a lot from the 2023 KOA report, the one that we studied in class, and I kind of show you the numbers that we've already talked through. Oh, look at there. There's a typo in there. See? Yep. See? Organic. And I go through. I might change these up. I have to go back and revise these a bit more too. I think Dirt just came out with their new camping report. So the 2024 camping report, I'm not sure. I saw some advertisements come through, But all that to say, you will constantly be going back here and revising it every so often. Probably right before you share this with like a banker or something, or a friend or a relative. We have opportunities in northern. I show them the opportunity in northern El Paso County. I talk about my distances from different places that are attractions. I have a map. This map I made in I think I made it in drawing. Yeah, see here. So I took a screenshot of the map of the area, and I inserted these number 1 and number 2. I'm going to show you how I do that right here, because you can go in and you can insert a drawing. You see that? And you can insert a drawing, and then within the drawing you can put a picture in, and you can upload it here, and then you can add like little, I'm going to show you this real quick. You can add like a star, a shape. Here we go. Shape, and then a cloud or something like that, and I could put in there, something like site number 1 or 21 or whatever. But I'm going to delete that because I don't want that in my document. But that's how I created this. So it gives you an aerial view. And I revised, I'm still talking here about, here's another one. I'm talking myself up. Terry Hayes from the El Paso County Commissioners. I mean, she's not from she's from the Chamber of Commerce, but she wrote a letter to the El Paso County Commissioners, and I quote from her. Now, she wrote this herself. She toured my place. She wanted to write it herself. I didn't tell her what to write. And same thing with, and then I quote some people in the area, like John Suthers used to be the mayor of Colorado Springs, and I just quoted from his State of the City address, because we're so close to Colorado Springs and how much he values tourism. This is a recent map I put into my guidebook. You can see that it says this map is included in the guest welcome binder. You can see I pinpoint Monument Glamping 1, and then I show, hey, this is 2 minutes away, this is 5 minutes away, this is 10 minutes away. And even though Air Force Academy, Black Forest, Woodmore, Pike National Forest is there, I'll show you this again in drawing. I put in Sunset Amphitheater because that's brand new. Okay, Air Force Academy's got their visitor center already, but Sunset Amphitheater is really huge. It's look at that. You drive out this way, you get off the interstate there, you get on the interstate right there. We're one exit down from the Sunset Amphitheater, and I'm making a big deal out of that for investors to know. I also show the distances to downtown Denver, 54 minutes. And the distance to downtown Colorado Springs, 22 minutes, to give people, because sometimes an underwriter to a loan might not even know the area very well. So when you are applying for like a mortgage or creative financing of some sort, the investor, the guy that has the money, the underwriter, may not have ever been to your area of the country. They're looking at just the bottom line and how convincing they can make money off of your operation. So you want to be as specific as you can in showing them where you are at. Okay, now a comparative analysis is very helpful. It identifies 4 things: the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats within your industry. And you have to go through that. I'm gonna actually read some of this because here, I'm going to read the first paragraph. To succeed in a competitive market, it is crucial to conduct a competitive analysis to understand the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats within the industry. They call that the SWOT strategy, by the way. The SWOT, as strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, is a business term, SWOT. But anyway, competitors in the region include luxury resorts, lodges, event centers, and recreation magnets. If you cut and paste this into your competitive analysis, do a search and see what your competitors are around you. I don't have any glamping operations around me, but I do have resorts and inns and suites, and Jellystone Park up in Larkspur, Colorado is a big deal. So I just quickly explain all of them. And then I say starting a glamping business in the vicinity of the listed venues comes with both strengths and weaknesses. Here's an analysis of the strengths: proximity to tourist hubs, the rise of the staycation, diverse customer base, collaboration potential, local attractions, marketing synergy. I just go through and I give a strong argument of strengths. There's also weaknesses: established competition, pricing pressure, marketing saturation, seasonal demand, regulatory challenges, marketing costs, customer loyalty. These are all things that will be challenges for me, and I'm just being honest with them. To succeed, our glamping business should carefully consider these strengths and weaknesses. It's important to differentiate our offerings, potentially by emphasizing unique experiences, eco-friendliness, and personalized service, and to have a robust marketing and branding strategy in place. Additionally, understanding and addressing the challenges such as seasonality and regulatory compliance will be a crucial and long-term success in the competitive market. Then I lay out 3 unique opportunities. The Jubes are preparing for their 6th season of operation. This gives them a tremendous insight into the opportunities that lie in front of them to develop Monument Glamping. Consider these 3 unique opportunities. And this is again positioning myself in how I'm ready to grow our business. I talk about permitting in El Paso County, but I say that's an opportunity. I know how to do it. I know how to get permitted. And then the cost for land is a challenge, but that's where the investor comes in. The unique opportunity lies in our family ourselves. I actually mentioned the glamping guy and how I'm encouraging other glamping enthusiasts to take up the reins and build their own properties. And my children, I mentioned my children and how one of them is a social media influencer, and we are doing well in the image of glamping, not only our glamping operation. Okay, the next section is the organizational structure and management. This I just recently updated. It's a description of Monument Resorts' organizational structure, and I'll let you read that yourself. This is going to be probably a more unique area or more unique section for you. There won't be so much cutting and pasting because I talk a lot about my family and how we're structuring our business. I talk about our properties, our second property, and talk about how we've got that financed up. And here's another visual. This visual, I think I created this in drawing also. Yeah, I created this in drawing by inserting these shapes and then naming them out. My structure right now, this will likely change as I acquire properties. I have Monument Ridge Ltd. That's Monument Glamping umbrella company. Then I have Monument Creek Glamping LLC, Monument Glamping Pinecone Ranch LLC. These are actually the legal names of my businesses. And then I leave the door open for future Monument Glamping properties, because that's why I would like some money from people so that I can actually buy those properties. I have some pictures of Monument Creek. These are those professional pictures that we'll learn about this next week, about getting a professional photographer on board. And then same with Pinecone Ranch. These are all photos of my listings, and I even have like some autographed pages to make it real personal. And then I open that door, more Monument Glamping properties. I cast the idea of Ray Kroc. I actually explain about what we've talked about in class, that it's more about real estate than it is about the hamburger business. Same thing with glamping. And then I'm asking them, I'm going to read this part. Our vision is very clear: to create a network of glamping properties that offer unparalleled experiences, combining luxury and nature, all within easy reach of the bustling Colorado Springs and Denver areas. As we continue to grow and acquire more properties, Monument Glamping is poised to establish itself as a premier destination for travelers seeking the perfect blend of outdoor adventure and comfort. Isn't that beautiful? I should put that, on a vision sheet somewhere. But anyway, then I go into key team members and I talk about me. I cite my MBA. That's important to some people. My teaching experience and publishing experience. Wendy, as co-owner of the Monument Creek property, homeschool mom, brings the gift of hospitality and a warm welcome to the glamping operation. And then Micah. Micah is my son, welding graduate, and home builder, and he's built many of the containers that are on the properties now. The Jubes are a powerhouse of entrepreneurs who have infused their passion for business into every aspect of Monument Glamping, and I go through all sorts of other different benefits of being part of our story. And that's actually a point that I should make. There was a bigger podcast episode that I listened to about the power of story, and I've read a book called Story Worthy, which I recommend as a business book, but it's about how to make a pitch with a story, and it's very, very powerful. Actually, much more powerful than the stale, bland business plans that are out there that just go through the stats. Even investors, people who are cut and dry, just looking at the bottom line, they do also value a story, and that's something that you want to just keep in mind to do and to communicate. Conclusion of this, with a united front of the entire Jube clan, each offering their unique expertise, Monument Glamping thrives as a true testament to the power of family collaboration and entrepreneurship in creating unforgettable experiences for our guests. Then I have some financial projections. I'm going to move kind of quickly through this because these will likely change. I was actually pretty conservative with the projections. I showed this to my son Micah, who's a partner in all of this, and he was saying this is going to be more like a $7 million mark, Dad. But I was just staying conservative. I still think 3.6 million is a boatload of money. I might change this though. But the idea is that financial projections for Monument Glamping are compelling. That's my concluding thought here, because I want to show them that, hey, if I had a little bit of investment, you would make money with me. Now, like I said in the last video, this is unique to what I'm teaching you, and that is to set up an exit strategy. Not all business plans have this. In fact, very few do, but it does impress the investor that you're not just in it to make yourself look good, especially if it's a story heavy business plan, which mine is. I want to draw that investor into the story of the Jubes and Monument Glamping itself. When you start talking about acquisitions and mergers and stuff like that, like you're thinking years down the road, they go, okay, he's got his act together, and now they can join you in making sure they can turn their investment into more money for them, because that's really what an investor is doing, right? They don't want it to set up a business that they'll die with. They don't want to set up something that's 30 years long. They want to see how much money they can make in the next 2, 3, 5, 10 years, and then exit. They have their exit strategies. In fact, that's a good point. Investors are always talking about exit strategies. They are in and out of their investments to maximize their earning potential. Us glampers should be. A grown-up business should be thinking the same way. They should be thinking about that exit strategy now while they're starting. And that's really, really important here. The exit strategy outlines the potential options for the future of Monument Glamping resorts, detailing the various paths that may be taken to maximize value and ensure a smooth transition. The strategy considers different scenarios and provides a framework for decision making based on the best interests of the glamping of the company and its stakeholders. And then I list some potential exit options. I'm not going to read all of them, just going to read the headings: acquisition by a larger hospitality company, merger with a complementary business, family succession, initial public offering, sale to a private equity firm, and employee stock ownership plan, an ESOP. So those are just different options that I'm just putting out there, that these are possible exit strategies. And what will influence the exit strategy are market conditions, financial performance, family considerations, and company vision and mission. Implementation and timeline. I actually put this all into ChatGPT and it spit it out, and I just edited it to fit Monument Glamping. I guess these are all things that I have to seriously consider for executing a strong exit strategy. That's quite the document, isn't it? I'm quite proud of it, and you should be proud of your document too as you build it. Even if you are cutting and pasting a lot of the information into your document, I want you to be very proud of what you put together. in the end. Now, please remember to keep my plans confidential, to just keep it close to your chest. This is me modeling for you what I'm doing here in Monument, Colorado. But the reason for my transparency is to help guide you and your business to bigger and better pastures in your glamping corner of the world.